Hello.
Hello, and our class today is Say Yes to Light. I'm sure you've seen it. Many of you, I know Risha, you probably did not get it because we did not send to Toronto. I was sent only in Alberta, packages for Hanukkah. And I hope everybody got that beautiful sign. Shlomo, do you mind to bring me our package that we got in the mail? That says, Say Yes to Light. And we made it specially laminated so we can put it in our cars. And we can put it in our cars, and it is two-sided, right? There's a little sticky padding there, that package, right? I hope everybody got. Hello, everyone, so nice to see you. And this is the one that says, Say Yes to Light. I don't know how you can see. And on the other side, you can write your name, your family name, that is wishing everybody happy Hanukkah. The light doesn't work very well with, and we have a lot of games that we got in that package, and it's so amazing. So the reason we call the class Say Yes to Light, it's not just because of the Hanukkah menorah, because it's Hanukkah now. We're going to learn what light represents, and Shemen, and Torah, and menorah, and all of that. Yeah, you can give it here. So I'd like to say hello to everyone for at least a minute. So we have Risha, Holly, Hilda, or Hindale, as I may say, Larissa, Irina, Eugenia, Janina, Jennifer, Brown, Dorit Moisey, Cheryl, Jeanette, Michelle, Alice, and we'll see who else will join us still. Very nice. Hopefully I said everybody's name. So it's okay. So last week, those of you who were here, you remember we started learning about special dates that have changed history. So we spoke about the 14th of Kislev was the Rebbe's and the Rebetzin's wedding anniversary. And this year it marked their 93rd wedding anniversary. And then we started speaking about the 19th of Kislev, Yutes Kislev. And Yutes Kislev is considered as the Rosh Hashanah of Hasidus. And we started discussing it, and we did not have time to finish. And I would like to speak about it a little bit more, as I promised you last week that we will. And then we'll touch a little bit on Hanukkah as well. So what had happened is, just to put it together, the Alter Rebbe was the disciple of the Maggid, right? The student of the Maggid of Mezrich. And the Maggid of Mezrich was the student of the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, he lived during very difficult times, and he's been an orphan since he was a 6-year-old. And I'm sorry, Irina, I did not see what you wrote, but I want to say hello, Irina. I hope I mentioned your name as well, but I didn't catch it. So I'm sure it was all good. And that's the reason his name was called Israel, because that's the name of the Jewish people. Am Israel, we are the Jewish people, Israel, in order to wake the Jewish people. Because the time that the Baal Shem Tov lived, it was time that it says, like, the Jewish people were in a state of faint. They fainted. It was a very difficult time. It was during the time of Bogdan Khmelnytsky, Machshmo, during the time of the Cossacks. They went through Europe, through Ukraine, through Russia. They unfortunately murdered thousands and thousands of people, and especially Yidden. It was a very difficult time. And then the whole story of Shabtai Tzvi, a person who decided to say that he's Moshiach, and many people believed him, and obviously he was wrong. And it was very difficult. And the Baal Shem Tov came during that difficult time, and Hashem sent him then to be the leader of the Jewish people in order to wake us up from our faint. And what Baal Shem Tov has done, as many of us know and read, that he basically showed Kabbalah, Chassidus, the inner part of the Torah, the esoteric part, the truth, and showed how every single one of us, every single Jew, every single person has something good in them. We just have to know how to reveal it. And we cannot say just somebody who is learned, somebody who is smart, somebody who has high IQ, they are better than somebody who is simple. Because in those years, the way was that the Eden had different shuls. And the shuls, I mean, in those times, almost everybody was observant. Everybody kept Torah and mitzvot. But they were the shuls for the learned people, for the big rabbis, for the people who were very smart. And then there were the shuls for the simple folk, for the shoemakers and water carriers and, you know, all the simple things that we have to do, plant the land because we need to live. Everything is important. We cannot all be doctors. We cannot all be lawyers. We want to have what to eat. We need somebody to plow and to grow vegetables, right? And I cannot say, well, because you are a shoemaker, you are not as important. Well, if my shoes tear, the most rich woman, most rich men still need good shoes to wear. So we cannot judge this way who is better. And that's what the Baal Shem Tov had brought. Don't judge who is better by their work. You judge who is better by the neshama, what they do, how they work on themselves. And he had shown his Chevraya Kadisha, his students, how vitayr this is, as we say in Yiddish. I like to put the Yiddish word, how dear it is, vitayr, how special, how precious it is to Hashem, to God, when a simple Jew that perhaps doesn't understand all the Hebrew words that he is davening, that he is reading, he cannot open up a book, or she cannot open up a book of a Gemara or a Mishnah or a Chumash. But when they pray, when they daven, when they say Tehillim, when they say a bracha, they really mean it with their heart. And he was able to show them the high impact it has in heaven, the high impact it has in Shemayim. I will not spend the time now. I hope I'll remember some other times to share stories of the Baal Shem Tov, how what he has done with his Chevra Kadisha, as it says. I mean, we call Chevra Kadisha people who bury people. They're also called Chevra Kadisha special people. But Chevra Kadisha meant it's his friends, his students that were with him. But he was able to show them how important it is, the simple heart of a Jew. When you do something, when you really help someone, and you mean it, and you want to help someone, not to get thanks, not to get reward, just to do Hashem's mitzvah, just to help someone, what a big impact you do. And that was something new. So the Baal Shem Tov revealed the Hasidus that was for everybody. It says Hasidus HaKlolis, the general Hasidism, and then the Alter Rebbe who did Hasidut Chabad, the Lubavitch Hasidim Chabad, which is the acronym, as we all know, Chokhmah, Binah, Da'at. Wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Chabad Hasidus is built on learning and learning and learning. The general Hasidus was a lot with the feelings. Yeah, we know we have to do it. We do because we feel, and we do what we are told to do. What the Alter Rebbe brought is the learning part, and that's what we are all doing, to learn and to learn and to learn. And why? Because the Alter Rebbe felt that in our generation we have so many other, so much science, so many other things. People learn, read this. There's a lot of influences from the outside, and it's not the way it was with our grandmothers, our grandfathers. You have to do this. We listen. You do this, you listen. That's the way the Torah way is, and you just follow. This is tradition. Those days are over, unfortunately. And now we need something stronger. We need the understanding ourselves with our own head. We have to understand, because it's very hard for our youth just to say, do this because I told you so, because I'm your parent. They will say, thank you, Mom, but I think I'm going to choose something else. I don't know, I respect you, but I want something else. Tradition is not just enough for me. But when the youth learns, when the child learns, when we learn and we understand why we have to do Hanukkah, why is it so important to do the mitzvahs that the Torah is saying, what is a neshama, what is a Jew, what is Shabbos, you understand, you do it because you know that is the right thing to do. You are not doing it only because a nice tradition, which is also important. So it will be kept for longer. And that's what happened with the Alter Rebbe. As we discussed, the Alter Rebbe was put in jail. I'll repeat it very quickly because I know some of the girls were here last week. Unfortunately, he was put in jail by Jewish people. by religious people. Why? Because they said, how come the Alter Rebbe is teaching a new way of Torah? They weren't used to it. What does it mean weren't used to it? Life was very hard in Europe, in Russia, in Ukraine. And there wasn't such a thing as singing during the week in davening or even on Shabbos and being happy and as I said before, having shuls for rabbis and for simple Jews and being friends with simple Jews and many things, you know, the happiness, the optimism, the positivity, people weren't used to it. It's hard, we are in exile, we cry, things are sad, things are bad. And it's true, things are hard because the Alter Rebbe brought all of a sudden a new thing. The Alter Rebbe's Chassidim, they used to dance during davening and sing and always be positive and how is life, Baruch Hashem, the Baal Shem Tov Torahs. He said, I know things are hard, but when somebody's asking you, how are you? Say, Baruch Hashem, thank God. And then you want to complain and you want to share things that bother you, then you'll share it. But the first thing, Baruch Hashem, thank God for what we have. This was a new way, and there were many things that they were very upset at the Alter Rebbe, and they didn't know how to get rid of him. So they decided, hello, Rodella, welcome whoever else just joined us, which is wonderful. Sorry if I didn't mention your name. They decided to go to the government, and they made a whole plot that he was a traitor because he was sending money. As I said, he was much more before JNF. In the 1700s already, the Alter Rebbe was sending money from the poor Jews in Russia. He was collecting the little kopkes and sending money to the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael. And the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael and Israel were under the, hello, Loredana, great that you made it.
Hello, thank you.
They were under the Turkish government, and Turkey and Russia were at war. So they said, you see, the Alter Rebbe is a Russian citizen, he's sending money to Israel, which is under Turkey, so he really is a traitor, he wants to make a war, whatever. As we know, the Alter Rebbe was put in jail. He was put in jail in a very cruel, rude way, because much more than a murder or anything like that, because here he is fighting the government, he's a traitor. And in a very short time, the people in jail found out that he is a holy man, that he is an amazing person, that we even shared, we will not repeat now, the story that the Tsar himself, it was in the 1700s, right? The Tsar of Russia himself came with civil clothing to see this man. And as we know, that the Alter Rebbe got up, the Alter Rebbe knew that he was the Tsar, although he never seen him, but he felt it. You know, and so many stories how the Alter Rebbe was able to see, they saw he was a holy man. When the Alter Rebbe was in jail, he had a dream. Well, I shouldn't say, not in a dream. When he was in jail, two special tzaddikim came to visit him, not in a dream, in real life. He was in jail, and he saw it was a vision, obviously. For us, it would be a dream. The Baal Shem Tov, which the Alter Rebbe never really saw in his life, he just met him when he was a 3-year-old. The Baal Shem Tov cut his hair when he was 3 years old. And the Maggid of Mezrich, which was the Alter Rebbe's Rebbe, teacher, they both came to jail to him, to visit him. And the Alter Rebbe asked them, why am I in jail? Why was I put in jail? Maybe I have. So they told him, you know what? You know that everything that happens in this world has a source in heaven, has a source in Shamayim. There was a kitrug. There was not a decree, but there was a whole, I don't know another better word for kitrug, a whole fight came up in heaven against what you are doing. You understand, the Alter Rebbe, that with the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid are telling him, I remember these are two great sages, they already passed away. They came again looking at the people that they looked, the way they looked when they were alive in this world, with their neshama, they came to visit the Alter Rebbe. And they told him that there was a big argument in heaven, and there was a lot of opposition. Kitrug was a lot of opposition. Why? You are spreading words of Hasidus, words of Torah, that is compared to shemen, to oil, to light. As I said, say yes to light. It's secrets of the Torah that nobody knew before. Very, very few people. And it wasn't, and we weren't allowed to reveal it. And now you're revealing it to everybody. So the Alter Rebbe said, okay. And he said, and that's why you were put in jail. So he said, so then should I stop? And what did the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid told him as they came as humans? That's right, Holly. They said, no, you went to jail, you suffered, everybody was davening, everybody was crying, everybody did many mitzvot, and Baruch Hashem, we were able to change the decree. There was a decree in heaven that didn't allow for the world, for Hasidus to be spread to everyone the way the Alter Rebbe started doing it. Till then, very few people knew. So he said, when you go out, you should spread the well springs even more and more and teach and everything. And they left, and the Alter Rebbe was in jail 53 days, corresponding to the first 53 chapters of Tanya. 53 chapters of Tanya, Likutei Amarim Tanya, have 53 chapters. Then there is Igeret HaKodesh, Igeret HaTshuvah, it's other parts of Tanya. But the first part of Tanya, Likutei Amarim, is 53 chapters. Now the Alter Rebbe was sitting in jail. He was davening. And as we mentioned, that it was so amazing. How did the Alter Rebbe go out? Did he have to fight with them physically? The way it was in Hanukkah? Bloodshed, war, tanks, elephants, horses, whatever the way was, the way people used to fight? No. When the Alter Rebbe was in jail, he was able to transform the evil into goodness. He was able to transform the people who were against him, who locked him up. And even then the ministers and the Tsar himself, for them to see how special he was. And I want to share with you one of the episodes when the Alter Rebbe, when they took him to jail and then they were going from one place to another, he was on a horse and buggy and he was getting closer to Shabbos. And the Alter Rebbe did not travel some hours before Shabbos. It says it's better not to travel in case, God forbid, you get late, and then, God forbid, you travel on Shabbos, you're in desperate Shabbos, Chas v'sholom, God forbid. So the Alter Rebbe had asked the person, the guard that was driving, the coach, to stop. And you think he listened. He said, you're going to tell me you're a prisoner? Anyway, to make the long story short, one wheel broke, another wheel broke. So many things went wrong that then they realized they better stop, because the Alter Rebbe is not going to let them travel anyway, because by the time they went to fix the one wheel and another wheel and the horse, so they asked him to at least let them go inside the city. They shouldn't stay the whole Shabbos outside the city in no man's land, because by the time it got already late, the Alter Rebbe did not allow. He said it's already late, and they just stopped by the side of the road by a tree. And it's interesting to say that people that know where the area was, the non-Jewish people, they're saying that there is a tree there that they trace back that Alter Rebbe stayed there, and that tree is so beautiful and green until today. It was also when he was in jail, and one of the times they were on a boat going from one place to another, and it was Saturday, I don't know if it was Saturday night or was during the week. No, Motzei Shabbos, we do Kiddush Lavona. The Alter Rebbe wanted to sanctify the moon. And he wanted to stand to sanctify the moon, and he asked them to please stop the boat from sailing just so he can stand straight. And they didn't want to listen. And the Alter Rebbe got up, and the boat stopped. Now, it's not a story I'm making up, obviously. It's things that happened that is recorded. There were so many miracles that the people in jail have understood that they're not dealing with an ordinary person, because he wants to say a prayer and he's asking them to stop the boat, please, for 5 minutes. And they said no. And then he gets up and he says the prayer, and then whatever they do with all the things to continue to sail, nothing helps. When he finishes the prayer, he sits down, he starts going again. How can you explain something like that? Obviously, it's an amazing miracle. Hello, Emily. I know you just flew in. Hello, Rita, and everybody else who joined is great. So here, the Alter Rebbe was able to transform the evil for them to agree with him. Yes, they understood he's all a person and let him out. I want to say also, now that we have more people in the class, I forgot to say before, that my birthday, God willing, is going to be this week. It's the 4th candle of Hanukkah. So I want to dedicate our class today. It's also this Shabbos, a special Shabbos, Shabbos Mevorchim, Shabbos that we bless the new month. So I want to dedicate our class to everybody's good health, good family life. Everything should have a good Hanukkah, a lot of light, all the special things. And I know next week, God willing, again, and the birthday I'll give you all blessings. You'll give me blessings. And yeah, and I would like you all to bless me as well, as my name is Rochel Bas Chaya Esther, that I should be well, and you should be well, and all of us should be well, and Hashem should not test us with any tests. We all had more than enough tests in our family life, in our health, in our community, whatever we're doing, and God willing, Hashem should just, thank you all, should give us everything that our heart desires. And as I said, as I'm dedicating the class for that, and we should be well and strong and healthy to continue to do what Hashem wants us to do, to bring light to this world. As we said, say yes to light. Thank you. Now, as the Alter Rebbe is sitting and saying Tehillim, because to read Tehillim says it's a very, very special thing to do. And anytime that we can, that we have an extra moment, we should read Tehillim. We should say Tehillim. And as the Alter Rebbe was reading Tehillim, he came to the pasuk, to the verse that says, Pada b'shalom nafshi. Hashem had redeemed my soul in peace. And the door opened up. And they came to tell him that he is free. Amazing. It's not just a coincidence. That was the time, and we all say and we all hope and we all believe that when we say Tehillim as well, when we read Psalms of Tehillim, Hashem will redeem our soul with peace, with all the blessings, with the good health, with all the good things that we need. Now, girls, what was the date that they came and they told Alter Rebbe that he's free? Yutet Kislev, right? It was the 19th of Kislev. Now, okay, so it was the 19th. It just happened to be that day. It was 53 days in jail. So 53 is the time, is because of the chapters of Tanya. So it happened to be the 19th. Nothing just happens. It's amazing. Everything has a reason. Everything has a meaning. And this is what Chassidus is teaching us. What is number 19? Number 19 has many, how should I say, explanations. One of them is the name of Hashem is 26. I cannot say the name of Hashem. We're not allowed to say Hashem's name in vain. But when we count a Yud, and then a Hey, and then a Vov, and then a Hey, Yud, K, Vov, K, is Hashem's name is Gematria in the numerical value is 26. If we spell the other letters, it would be easier if I had a board. We spell the other letters of Hashem's name like Yud, not just the Yud, not just the Yud, but Yud is like the letters that finish it, right? The Vav and the Dalet. And the rest of the words, we get to number 19. What does it mean? That when Mashiach will come, Hashem's name will be more revealed with the 19, with the rest of the light that is in the letters of Hashem, of Hashem's name. Another thing also, you know that Lag BaOmer is Chai, ER, is Yudchet, Chai, and 19 is even higher because 19 is, again, connected to Mashiach. Another thing that is so beautiful has to do with us women. It says in the Torah, Vayaged, when it speaks about teaching and Vayaged, to tell. Onkelos, there is, in every Chumash, if you look, there is a thing that says, here I have a Chumash, Targum Onkelos. I can show you this Chumash. You see, so the big part is the Torah, is the 5 books of the Torah, says in the Torah. Then there's little things. It's in Aramaic, Onkelos. Onkelos was a very great sage. He was actually a person who converted to Judaism. He was a Ger Tzedek, he was a convert. He converted to Judaism in the time of the Romans, when it was very difficult to be a Jew. He was a real tzaddik, a real Jew. Obviously, he was born with a Jewish soul, and came the time that it was so difficult to be Jewish, and he still became a Yid. And he wrote Targum Onkelos. The Torah is, he basically translated the Torah into Aramaic, each word. And the way he translated the words Vayaged, to tell, said, he writes Chavi. And the Torah explains explains what it means Chavi, Chava. Chava, who was Chava? Chava was the mother of humankind. Chava was the first woman on earth. She gave birth, and that's how all of us continued, right? When you take the word Chava, it's just amazing how in Torah everything is so connected. And that's what Chassidus brings, that it's not just, oh, it just happened to be the 19, it happened to be this. No, from everything we can learn. And everything is a neshama. Chava, when you take the numerical value of the words Chava, Chet, Vav, and Hey, what do we come up with? Chet is 8, Vav is 6, and Hey is 5. So we get 19. Why 19? Chava, women, because the whole, how should I say, not purpose, but the big mission that Chava has, that us women have, is to tell, to continue, to give over, to reveal what is hidden. And that's number 19. That's going to be when Mashiach comes. How do we reveal what is hidden? One of the first things that is so obvious is because we women give birth. We create from whatever is hidden, from the sperm and from our egg. It's hidden in our womb, and it's hidden for 9 months, and we cannot see anything. And I don't know, is Rodella still here? I want to wish her easy birth, God willing, soon, but perhaps she left. We'll tell her anyway. And we reveal, we take out to the open whatever was hidden. And this is our job. Chava, which was the first woman, and all of us women, to reveal what is hidden, to reveal the good in our children, in our friends, in our husbands, in our colleagues, in our fathers. This is something that women can do that is very, very special, that we have that with us in a way a little bit more than men. Many men have that as well, obviously, but to reveal the potential, because we have most of the time more patience, more understanding, more empathy, more, let me try. Yeah, my child can do that. I just need give a little bit more love, give a little more attention. I can do that. I have a friend that has a very hard time with something. I'll try, I'll befriend her, I'll send her something for Hanukkah, I'll do this, I'll do that. We know more how to find the time and the different talents that we have to reveal the hidden, the potential that other people have. And this is the connection that we women have to Mashiach. Because when Mashiach will come, the hidden will be revealed. And this is number 19. Chava is number 19. What happened 19th of Kislev? The Alter Rebbe was released from jail. He was released from jail in order to reveal more the esoteric part of the Torah. You see how it's all connected. We know, girls, that when on Friday, when we cook for Shabbos, and tomorrow is Friday, and because Fridays are very, how should I say, short now, we try, and I try a lot to do things on Thursday so we don't run into problems on Friday. But Friday afternoon, you walk to a Jewish home, it smells like challah, like matzah balls, like chicken, like gefilte fish, like salads, like chocolate cake, whatever it is, right? There's a very good aroma in the room. And we know we always try to taste something. We want to eat something a little bit, not everything, but we taste a little bit from the food of Shabbos, and then we're going to have the beautiful meal on Shabbos. And it says that it's a special thing. To'ameh chaim zachu. It says that somebody who tastes from a little bit the food from Shabbos, then they enjoy the Shabbos more. They look forward to Shabbos and so on and so forth. What is the connection, what I'm saying, with Shabbos? One of the times during the Alter Rebbe's, the Baal Shem Tov's life, it said, it happened many times in the Baal Shem Tov, that the Baal Shem Tov had out-of-body experience. It says, the way the terminology in Hebrew is, aliyat neshama. Aliyah is to go up, like somebody goes to Israel, they go to aliyah, or when you go up to the Torah, right, you get an aliyah, and aliyah means to go up. He had aliyat neshama. He was still alive. He was in this world. But it says that the Baal Shem Tov's face will get very red. And I don't know if his eyes were closed or open, but you were able to see that he was staring somewhere. I don't know if I mentioned to you, and I don't know if that's what used to happen to the Rebbe, but many times, there were times, many or not, I don't know, during the Farbrengen, the Rebbe would sit, would be the women's section, the men's section, the Rebbe would sit, and for a long time, the Rebbe would stare. But he wouldn't stare at anybody. He was like, usually he was staring, and then for a long time, everybody was singing around, because the Rebbe would speak, then there were songs. Then the Rebbe would speak, there were songs. The Rebbe would just stare, and I don't know where the Rebbe was, but many times I would think like the Rebbe wasn't here. The Rebbe would stare, not move for a long time. He was serious, and then like as though he would wake up, he would like move and start continuing saying l'chaim to people. But for a long time, he was just, I don't know where the Rebbe was. I'm just saying what I've seen, in my life, real with the Rebbe. But the Baal Shem Tov had many times aliyat neshama, and it was known, his students knew that the Baal Shem Tov wasn't here. He was up there. And as he wasn't a live person in this world, he was sitting on his chair, but he really wasn't here. The neshama went to heaven. And one time, and when he was in heaven, later, when he came back down again, he told his students what he saw. That's how we know. And he was in heaven, he was in Gan Eden, he was going from one place to another. He saw the neshamas, the great sages, they're sitting and learning Torah. And he saw, when he was going through, he passed through the Heichal of Mashiach, through the beautiful room, sanctuary, whatever you want to say, Heichal is, where Mashiach was. So he came over and he told him, Eimosai ka'asimar. It's in Aramaic. Eimosai ka'asimar means, when will when will you come? When will you come to redeem us? Life is so hard down here. And what did Mashiach answer him? What did the Neshama of Mashiach answer the Baal Shem Tov? Lichsheyafutzu ma'inosecha chutza. There is such a song. Hey, Mosai Kasimar, maybe some of you know. Lichsheyafutzu ma'inosecha chutza. There's a song like that. Hey, Mosai Kasimar. How long can we wait for you, Mister, to come? What does it mean? He answered the Baal Shem Tov. Means when your well springs will go to the outside, will spread to the outside, this is when I'll come. What are the well springs of the Baal Shem Tov? The well springs of the Baal Shem Tov is Kabbalah in a way that we are able to understand. It's Hasidus. That's what the Alter Rebbe had revealed to us. And in order for us to get ready, Be'ezrat Hashem, Gadol Mashiach is coming so soon, in order for us to try to understand a little bit from the amazing teachings of the Torah that Mashiach will teach us, we are supposed to learn Hasidus now. We have the merit, we have the privilege to learn Hasidus now. That's what Hasidism is, that's what Hasidus is. And that's why I brought you the example of when we cook food before Shabbos. We are now already in the 6th millennium, right? We are 5,700 Tafshin Pei Beis, 782 years since the beginning of creation. So we are in the 6th millennium. We are right a few hundred years less before the 7th, right? Because 5,700, we started in the 6th. 6 is like we're finishing. It's already Erev Shabbos. Erev Shabbos, the food is cooking. And when the food is cooking, when we're looking in the pot and it's hot and it's boiling and everything, it can seem also chaos. What's going on? And how will the soup turn out good? I put so many vegetables. How will it taste? And it's cooking and it's boiling. And then when it stops and becomes quiet, it's a very good soup. It's an analogy also that now, right before Mashiach is coming, we have a lot of turbulences and we had enough. We don't need any more. Now we need Mashiach to come. But we want to taste from the food. So that's the example. The same thing as on Friday afternoon, right before Shabbos, we want to taste from the food of Shabbos. The same thing in our years. Now it's right before Mashiach is coming, right before the day of Shabbos. You know, what does it say? What is Shabbos? Shabbos, Harachaman hu yanchinenu liyom shekulo, we say it in benching. Harachaman hu yanchinenu liyom, to a day shekulo, Shabbos umenucha l'chai olomim. Shabbos umenucha, Shabbat menucha, rest forever. What does it mean? The day of Shabbos is referred to the times of Mashiach. There is going to be rest from all the bad things. It's going to be only goodness and kindness, no sicknesses and no sorrow and no death and no jealousy and no only good. That it's such a hard thing even for us to imagine such a time will come, but it's coming. And that's why the Baal Shem Tov revealed Chassidus. I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell my son. Yudele, I've been in class. What's my cleaning the halba shoshinkat? Okay? Okay, Adank. Adank Nashon. Okay, Blinadri. Adank Nashon. I love you. Adank. Bye. Sorry, my son from New York. I didn't want to worry. That's what we are supposed to learn Chassidus now. So we have the taste of the Torah that Mashiach will teach. Girls, we know that Hanukkah is coming. Hanukkah is coming Sunday night. We call the class Say Yes to Light. Actually, that slogan, my son Levi came up with. Israel Levi is genius. But this is what Hanukkah is. Hanukkah is light. Hanukkah is shemen. What happened during and that's why I'm connecting the 19th of Kislev, the Alter Rebbe, as we said, when he was in jail, the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid, it's not just something like they came all the way from heaven. They came down to his cell in jail. They looked like humans. They did not just come as a neshama. They were both, the Alter Rebbe described how they looked, right? The Alter Rebbe never saw the Shem Tov. Hello? Yeah, we're still in the class.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Join us again if you can. Okay, thank you. And they told him, no, continue, because that's what will bring Mashiach. Now, what is Hanukkah, girls? We know what happened over 2,000 years, a little bit more than that, and the whole, how the Syrian Greeks had oppressed the Jewish people. We spoke about that even in the UN, the menorah is a symbol of freedom of religion, freedom of expression. It's so important. That's why it's so important that we celebrate Hanukkah. Now, why Hanukkah is all around light, all around the shemen. They couldn't do many other things in the Beis Hamikdash when the Greeks were there. What happened with Hanukkah? We'll try to do it quick. Boy, time flies. The Syrian Greeks didn't care if us, the Jewish people, will continue keeping Torah. Light the menorah, keep Shabbos, learn, but not because it's Hashem's Torah. When we read in the Al Hanisim, when we read on Hanukkah, what we say in benching and in Shmoneh Esrei, we say B'mei Matisyo, everything that happened, and we're saying everything is Lashkecham Toratecha, your Torah, mitzvotecha, your mitzvahs. Everything is underlined that is yours, which means that the Syrian Greeks were okay if we were to keep things just because Torah is a very good knowledge, has very good ethics, the mitzvot, how we have to behave, and so on and so forth. It's very interesting. There were many, many people who weren't Jewish who studied Torah because the knowledge in it and Talmud and so much wisdom and so on. But just because it's a wisdom like any other wisdom in the world. We're a nation just like anybody else. No, we are not. We are special. That's how Hashem made us. We are the chosen people. We are doing mitzvahs. When you light Hanukkah candles, when we light Hanukkah candles, when we light Shabbos candles, when we say a bracha, we just say it because it's a nice thing to do. We say it because this is Hashem's mitzvahs. This is Torah Techa. See, thine mitzvahs, thine Torah, it's yours. Zeshelcha, Torah Techa, Zeshelcha. And that's why, what did they do? When they saw that they are losing the war, that they're going to have to leave, they wanted the Jewish people to suffer. And they decided that they are not going to let them to light the menorah. So what did they decide to do? To open all the oils. They knew the rule, the law, that when they made oil, shemen, to light the menorah, it had to have the seal of the Kohen Gadol. And that made it that the oil was pure. The oil hayat tahor was pure. If the seal was broken, as when you buy a Tylenol or aspirin or whatever, I am sure I would advise you never to get anything that doesn't have a seal, because you don't know who made it, and God knows what's in it. You don't want to open something that is open. So that has the seal. It was still oil, but it wasn't tahor, it was tome, it was not pure. They wanted to force the Jewish people to light the menorah because they said, look, they're not going to have any oil till they make the oil. It takes 8 days. So we're going to open all the oils everywhere. They didn't spill the oil, you see, they left the oil, but they wanted to show us, they wanted to teach us, you want to light the menorah? It's beautiful light, light it, but don't do it because Hashem says. Hashem tells you to light it with pure oil, you light it with not pure oil because we're going to open it all. Who cares? Hashem tells you to do this, to do a bris because it's healthy medically, not because Hashem says. Hashem says, you're not allowed to eat meat and milk together. We know that it's not healthy. Shellfish is not healthy. This is not healthy. No, don't eat it because it's not healthy. No, don't eat it because Hashem said, eat it because it's not healthy. Because it's, you understand what I'm saying? They wanted to take out the pureness, the oil from it, the neshama from it. And really, according to halacha, if there was no other oil, according to halacha, and the whole tzibur, the whole congregation cannot light the menorah, they really were allowed to use it. There are opinions that they could have used oil, but they didn't want to give in. They didn't want to give in. They searched, and then they found a small jar. It wasn't very small, the way it says small compared to the other big jars, because the menorah was huge, as we know, a grown-up man a Kohen Gadol had to go on 3 steps to reach it. It was very big. They were big cups. But the cups of the menorah, when you filled it in full, it would light for 20, it would be enough for 24 hours for a day. So they found one jar, as we know, that the seal of Kohen Gadol was still on it, although there were tons of jars, but they weren't holy. They weren't pure. And they lit the menorah, and Hashem made the miracle that it went on for 8 days till they were able to have more oil. And that's what he's teaching us, that Hanukkah is light. We have to say yes to the things that are important. We have to say yes to our head. What do I mean by to say yes to our head? We have to be moach shalit ala lev. Our head has to govern our emotions. We have to do what we know, what is the right thing. We have to have good emotions too. It's very important to go also with your feelings, when we have the right feelings. But when do you know that you have the right feelings? When your head agrees with it. Because many times we can have feelings because I feel bad that my baby is crying and she really wants to touch the sharp knife or the sharp scissor I have in my hand, and she really wants it. Whatever I give, she really wants it. And I can't listen to her cry, and I'm going to give it to her. This is not true feeling. This is not true kindness. This is wrong. Because my head tells me if I'll give it to my young child, they're going to hurt themselves. So when our children tell us, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to marry Jewish, and I don't want to do Hanukkah, and I don't want to do this, we have to find ways to explain to them, to convince them, to teach them, to show them the shemen, the oil, the light. Say yes to light, to explain to them that the other things is darkness. It seems as light. All the oils were kosher. They weren't kosher. They were still oil. They were able to be lit, but it wasn't what we needed. And I want to tell you girls that the Torah has many levels, right? It compares to, we won't go now to those details, to bread, water, and so on. The esoteric part of the Torah, Raz in the Torah, is compared to yayin, to wine. As we know, wine has a good taste. Nichnas yain yatsa sod. So the secrets part of the Torah compared to wine, because when it says nichnas yain yatsa sod, when you drink wine and you get drunk, then all the secrets come out. People cannot control what they're saying, and then we know what's on their mind. And if it's on their mind, bad stuff, ugly stuff, they say ugly stuff. Somebody who is full of Torah, full of kindness, when they get a little bit tipsy, they feel comfortable to say the truth. And the truth that is in their heart, in their head, is Torah, is kindness. So they share things that usually they wouldn't share, but they feel comfortable because they feel a little tipsy. So this is Razin the Torah, the esoteric part of the Torah. The Chassidut, what we are learning, Tanya, the neshama of the Torah, that this is the essence, the ikar of the Torah, is compared to shemen, to oil. Oil has many special things. In one way, it doesn't, no, you cannot mix it with anything else, right? You can mix it and then it goes up. On the other hand, oil makes everything taste better, taste good. Oils penetrates into everything. And this is, we can speak about it for a whole hour. We have just a few minutes, but the reason I'm bringing it up, because this is the mitzvah of Hanukkah, to light candles, and it's even a prayer with candles or with oil is a very special mitzvah, to light the candles with oil, because the oil penetrates in everything, goes through everything, and it's very hard to take it off. If you make a stain of oil of something, it's very hard to take it off, of a clothing or anything else. And this is what Chassidus is. Chassidus penetrates our life. Every mitzvah that we are doing, when we learn the Chassidus with it, the Chassidut, it makes us understand the mitzvah better. It beautifies the mitzvah. We enjoy the mitzvah better because it penetrates the inside part of the Torah, the pnimiyut, the depth, and the depth is shemen. When we anoint a kohen, it says you put shemen on the head, because shemen is the head. As I said, we have to understand things with our head the right way. And well, to finish the class, I would like to say the Shabbos is a special Shabbos that we bless the new month. as I mentioned before, my birthday as well, which is special for me and for everyone. We should all be well. As I said, my name Rochel Esther. And this year is very special, girls. I'm sure all of you read. You got our packages, the pink ones that have games and all kind of amazing stuff. Have that beautiful part that say yes to light in here that we're supposed to put in our cars when we drive the whole week, or we can write our name. But girls, we have 120 menorahs. Please, let's make it that we have no menorahs left. It doesn't cost any money. If somebody doesn't have money, we just mention it. If somebody wants to sponsor, they can sponsor. There are many people that sponsored their menorahs and other menorahs. If you want to purchase the menorah, I mean, there is a price for it to have it the whole week. But if you want to have a menorah the whole week, great. But even just for the parade, you just come, you'll get the menorah. You have to reserve it though, because we do want to give to everybody menorahs Saturday night or Sunday, but we prefer Saturday night. If not, Rabbi Shimonov is handling with it. You can email him. If you didn't reserve your menorah yet, please do it. Put your grandchildren in that car. Imagine what a beautiful scene it will be. Everybody's going to be in Heritage Park. It's going to be a short program at 4:30, but we have to reserve the menorah. Then you come there for 4. You're sitting in the car. We're going to have so many cars with the menorahs on top. We're going to go, Rabbi's going to go on the cherry picker to light the menorah in Heritage Park. And then everybody's going to light their menorahs as well with the, lighter that they'll have. Obviously, it's LED. And we're going to have gifts there of food. We're going to have music. We're doing FM stereo so everybody can hear the music and you'll be able to what's going on. We rented huge screen that everybody can see. I can't even tell you how many thousands of dollars this is costing, not 10 and not 20 and not 30. It's huge, the whole thing of Hanukkah, because just to get those menorahs here and the bases and Heritage Park itself, all the audio and how much it is, how many $1,000 is to have the screen and so on. We're going to have a Zoom as well during that time. So those people who cannot travel will be able to watch it on Zoom. But let's be part of that history. If you still did not get the menorah, please, some people told my son, oh, but we don't have money. And my son said, sweetheart, it's for free. Only if you can give a donation, that's great. If you can't, don't worry. And I know many of you here on the chat already ordered the menorahs. If you didn't, please email. You got the email tonight. We'll send the email. If you didn't get it, please look in your promotions or in spam. I get it later to my spam. Get a menorah on your car, and we're going to have it in Heritage Park. From Heritage Park, we're going to go on a short parade around the city, not for a long time, maybe for 10 minutes. The route of the parade is it's on our website. If you go to menorah.ca, please, you can go to menorah.ca, menorah, MENORAH, menorah.ca. It has over there the route of the parade. You can go with the parade and then come back to Chabad house and take off the menorah. If you don't want to go to the parade and you want to drive with the menorah straight to Chabad, you can let us know. Somebody will be there. You can take off the menorah there. If you want to take the menorah from Heritage Park and drive to your house, you can drive right away to your house. Or you can go with us to the parade. But even those of you that you cannot go to the parade or whatever, just to have the young generation, your grandchildren, your children, yourself, sitting in the car with a menorah, just imagine how much Jewish pride that is. So much Jewish pride that we are not afraid. We're ready, myself and many people are driving around town with the menorah. This is the best answer to anti-Semitism. This is light. Say yes to what people look, oh, you have a menorah. Yeah, menorah is light. Menorah represents freedom of religion, freedom of expression, equality to everybody. Being nice, it's not just for Jewish people, it's for everybody. And please, let's not be afraid. What is there to be afraid to drive with the menorah in the car? Again, if you want to do it the whole week, that's great. That's what we do. We already started. If you don't want, if you can't for whatever reason, let's at least do it in Heritage Park. It is the first night of Hanukkah. We're not doing it late. That's why I know in some places it's at 5 o'clock, but we're doing it at 4:30. So 5 o'clock we're finished, and then you can go home early and have the parties and light the menorah and do and so on and so forth. And again, we're gonna have music. We're gonna have a huge LED screen so you can see everything what's happening while we're sitting in the car. We're gonna have treats for everybody, the people who are coming there with the menorahs. But please, we have to register. So then we have to make sure that we have enough menorahs that you can actually, come and get the menorah. And we want to, as I said, we want to give the menorah Saturday night as much as possible. It's really easy to put on. And let's say yes to light. Let's say yes to all the good things. There's a lot of darkness out there, girls. I know, lots of darkness in all ways of life, whether it's in families, getting along, whether it's between spouses or with children or health, God forbid, or whatever, God forbid. Anything that is not, or with money, anything that is not straight is darkness. It's not good. But let's bring out the light. Let's see the light. And when we're going to say yes to light, more light will come in, because this is what the Alter Rebbe, this is what Chassidus is, because when you try, you do a little bit more than you can, Hashem will give you more and more and more. And the most important is to be positive, to be happy, to continue here. I am supposed to go off because we are starting a meeting, and I'm reminded that they need our Zoom to join the other meeting. So girls, I want to wish everybody good Shabbos. You can unmute for 2 minutes. You don't have to tell me now. I really hope that many of you already ordered the menorahs. I know, by the way, Hilda, I told your husband, and I was there last week with my son, and I told him what we're doing 120 menorahs, and he looked at me and he says, "You never get tired. How do you do all of this?" I said, "Lenny, Hashem should just give us koach. We are very happy to continue." We felt this year we have to do something different. We can't do the menorah in City Hall, although they allowed us, but you have to be social distance and to be double vaccinated, and not everybody is. And even the ones that are double vaccinated, we still do social distance. So as I spoke, we said, let's do it in Heritage Park. Let's do something to go out. And as we learned, the mitzvah on Hanukkah is to publicize the miracle. Not like on Pesach, we don't have to put matzahs all over town or sukkahs all over town for people to see, but Hanukkah we do. There's a mitzvah, that's why we have to light the menorah by the window or by the door so people see. So now, Baruch Hashem, that we live in a free country, we have to publicize it through putting it on cars, putting big. It's amazing how much good comes. Girls, every year on Hanukkah, we get calls, we get letters, how young people, older people, middle-aged, whatever it is, were ignited. The light was ignited because they said, wow, Heritage Park is not embarrassed to have a big menorah. They allow. So many people are putting menorah on the car. I shouldn't be embarrassed that I'm a Jew. For sure, nobody should be, but it's difficult. We do live in a goyish place. We live with many people that we know many people hate us. But if we're gonna stand straight and tall, proud who we are, have a good Shabbos, all the best. Please, all of you who didn't order menorahs yet, please be this part of history. We have police coming to the parade. They were so excited. The MLA or the councilman from our area said, yeah, they're coming because we invited everybody. We always invited to City Hall. So some said, yeah, they'll come and they would love to have a menorah for the car and go on the parade with us. And the police might put also a menorah on the car. We have police cars that are coming as well. They were very excited that we're doing it. It's not long. We're not stopping traffic, just driving around. And we hope very much that we'll be able to get some nice pictures to see later. So again, if you can make it to the parade, to be in Heritage Park for that time, it will be huge. If you can, as I said, can't afford the menorah, don't worry about the money. Just fill out the form to make sure that we have a menorah for you, and then we'll let you know when you can come and pick up. And if for some reason you cannot come, at least join on Zoom on menorah.ca. It will be amazing, and we'll feel so good this Hanukkah. And let's hope that this Hanukkah already can be the end of our Tzoros and Mashiach will come. Amen.
Amen. And a freilichen Geburtstag.
Sameach.
Early for you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's early. You're wonderful. Always remember, even before we had
Fourth
this
candle. Fourth candle.
And next week, I think it's Wednesday night. So Thursday night, we'll have
Wednesday night.
We'll celebrate again. And thank you all, girls. I'm sorry, I was supposed to call also some people back, certain things. It's been so busy, like so many things. Not everything is going through very easy, but Baruch Hashem, thank you for all the volunteers, for all the help. And on Sunday, if some of you have time, you can WhatsApp me or WhatsApp Mushka, my daughter-in-law, because we want to prepare. We have a lot of latkes that many of you did. We froze them, we want to warm them up, and we want to prepare the packages and so on. We're starting the meeting, right? I'm coming. Sorry, girls, our staff is waiting because we all every
Good
night.
Shabbos, everybody. Thank you so
Shabbos,
much.
Shabbos and an early good Yontif and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much, girls. Thank you.